Hola, soy Angelo Caro, estamos acá en Tampa Pro y puede ver esto en Tony Love Skateboarding.
Welcome back everybody, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. This week I want to talk to you about the worst pair of shoes I've ever skated. But a small disclaimer up there, I know everybody's feet are different. I'm just sharing my personal experiences with this particular pair of shoes. As a skateboarder throughout the years, I've gone through a lot of shoes, especially ever since I started the channel because I've been skating so much more that I've gone through quite a good amount of shoes. Some have been great, some have been not so great, but I haven't really had any bad experiences. The only really bad experience I can remember was back in the mid to late 90s. I had a pair of Nike shoes when Nike, I guess, was starting to do skate shoes, and these shoes were very, very uncomfortable. They had something in the heel that was very hard, and it would poke you and it would create blisters on my feet. Unfortunately, those were the only shoes I had available at the time. I didn't have a job, I was a kid. My parents could only afford to get me a pair of shoes at a time. So I had to power through those shoes, and I will never forget those shoes. To me, those shoes were probably the worst shoes I've ever ridden, and that's until I met these guys. These are the DC Shoes Tiago Lemos, and I will say that I am a big fan of DC shoes. I have been for years, and when I decided to get back into skating in 2014 or 15 or whatever, the first pair of shoes I got were a DC shoes, and I believe my next 2 or 3 pairs of shoes were DC shoes, and it wasn't until a little bit later when I started trying out different types of shoes. But by no means this is a knock on DC shoes. I'm still a big fan. These were just not the right shoes for me though. So I do want to talk about the good things about this shoe. First, it was the color. I love gray skate shoes. I've always loved them. I remember having this pair of Etnies back in the day that were gray, and I just loved the way they look. So that was a big draw when it came to buying these shoes. They were gray, they were actually on sale, and they were DC shoes. So I was all in when it came to buying these shoes. So these shoes are great looking shoes, don't get me wrong. This is not about what they look like. I think they're amazing looking shoes. I love where the stitching and the cuts are. It's got a really nice padded collar. I guess it's called a collar, huh? It's got a mesh tongue, which is really nice. It's actually kind of thick, so will protect your foot. It's made out of the trademark Super Suede, which is supposed to make the shoe last longer. It wasn't the case in my experience. Actually, I think I got a big hole in my flick shoe by the 3rd session. You can't see it because I shoe glued over it. And then now I'm getting a hole here in the front, which no shoe has ever done that for me. So that is one flaw on this shoe, and that's not even the biggest flaw. It's got this cool airbag for high impact resistance, which is great. I didn't really get use out of it because I'm sticking to ledges and banks, but I'm sure somebody who's doing bigger stuff can actually take advantage of that. I just think it looks cool. The tongue's got elastics, which really keeps your foot in place. That's very nice. It came with 2 shoelaces, which for me, that's gold, because if you've been following my channel, you know that I go through shoelace just about every session. So the fact that it came with 2, that was great. I love the sole too. It has a cool design, and you actually really get a great board feel. So all of those things about this shoe are very, very positive, but there is one really big flaw. And I almost forgot, these shoes have a really, really nice flick on kick flips and things like that. It just does. So those are very, very good and positive things about this shoe. But I had the following issue. So when I first tried on the shoes, they felt like the most comfortable skate shoe I've ever put on my feet. They just did. It felt like, I know it's cliche to say, but it felt like you're walking on clouds. On clouds. You're walking on clouds, not clowns. But then the very first day, the very first session I tried, Within 3 minutes of the session, I started feeling like my feet were on fire. I started to get these, I guess, Charlie horse on the bottom of my feet, not just one foot, but both feet. And the pains was so intense that I literally had to take the shoes off, sit down and rub my feet. I think I found a bottle and I started rubbing my feet on the bottle. And that wasn't just that first session, it was the first, the second, the third. I think I've only skated these shoes like 8 times, maybe 10, and every single time these shoes would do the same thing, and it's an indescribable pain. It's literally like a Charlie horse on the bottom of your feet. No other shoe has given me anything close to that, and these would do it every single session, every single time within 5 minutes of me skating, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever felt in my life when it came to a shoe. At first I thought it was because, you know, it's a new shoe, and I just kind of had to get used to it, and that just wasn't the case. It just kept happening every single time. I tried different insoles. Sometimes when I'm done with a shoe, depending on the shoe, I will keep the insole for cases like these, but that did not help. Right now is actually, I think I got these old Pony insoles from an old Pony shoe that actually felt like it was going to work, like it was going to feel better. I really wanted to skate these shoes because honestly, with the situation that the world is right now, I don't really have much money to go be buying a pair of new shoes. So I did that, and I shoe goo the whole, thinking I was gonna be able to get more out of these shoes and thinking that was gonna fix the problem. But it just did not work. Not only it didn't work, it actually made the pain worse. I actually haven't skated these shoes in a long time because of this problem, and I guess I have forgotten how bad the pain was because I feel like it came back twice as bad. And it got to the point where when I got home from the last session on these shoes, the pain was so intense, it felt like I had broken my foot. Now this time, the pain was on my left foot, and it was on the muscle that's located around here. And like I said, it was so intense that it was hard for me to even walk inside my house to let my dogs out. I had to take my shoes off as soon as I got home and sit there with the massage gun for like 5 minutes in order for me to be able to walk. And I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but trust me, I'm not. It was excruciating pain. Never felt anything like that coming from a shoe. And that's why these are the worst shoes I've ever skated, and I wouldn't recommend these shoes to anybody. Like I said, like everybody's feet are different, and you might have a great experience, but like knowing how my experience went, I wouldn't tell anybody to try these shoes. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want anybody to go through what I went through with these shoes. So these shoes are gonna go in the trash, and I already got a new pair of shoes that so far I'm loving. So that was my rant about the worst shoes that I've ever skated. What are the worst shoes that you've ever skated? What are the best shoes that you ever skated? So let me know in the comments. Remember to massage your feet. If you don't have a massage gun, oh my God, get one. Do yourself a favor and get one. It's the best. Remember to be cool, bro, but most importantly, remember to stay young. Peace.